Most of you haven't seen me around, so I have been serving the part of the community who speaks Spanish, so most of the time I'm not with you, so I have been missing you. Believe me, it's a blessing for me to be with you today. But as you can see, my accent is too bad, even when I had been in this country for 27 years already. But I'm sorry, this is one of those aspects that when you are a little one, you can learn too many languages and no accent at all. But I came to this country when I was already 33 years old, so I'm sorry. It's going to be with me forever, probably. But looking at the gospel today, it came to my mind one of those stories in my life. I am from a very small town in Michoacan in Mexico, but I had a friend when I was in high school who, well, my high school was from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., and a strange schedule if you wanted, but because it was so small town, the same teachers who was in elementary school were coming to middle school and were later on the same teachers for the high school. It was so small that we shared the teachers, no? So that's why I was going at night. But during the day, one of my friends in high school, he was a shepherd. He had, close to my house, it was a big field in which in the mornings he was there with his sheep. So I was able to see him many times in the mornings, talk to him, and see that he had several of them. And he has the ability to control them very well. And many times only with his voice. Sometimes he has some stones that he was able to throw them very well. So I knew him very well because many times when we were coming out at 9 p.m. from high school, I tried to be with him because he was the best to throw stones. And some of my friends trying to bring all together until town, the center of the small town, and then you can go to your house. You were away in a different direction. He is in charge of throw stones to those who were not in the group. So he was my friend. So I tried to. He was very good on that. And I saw him controlling those sheep very well. It was the main street passing through, the main road in that small town. And he had, when they finished to be there in the morning, they had to pass the road to the other side to be able to come back to their place. So I remember very well standing on the side of the road, and all of them were just waiting, all the sheep waiting to hear his voice to say, "Go!" Then all of them ran across the road and continue. But they knew that they had to wait on the side of the road because they were trained, if you will, since the very beginning. So I was able to see, many times I tried to yell at them, "Go, go." They didn't go. I tried to do it to see if in reality they were confused. No, they knew very well him and his voice. So coming back into the gospel, I think this is one of those aspects today that at least for me, I relate it because I have seen it. I lived it many times when I was in that small town. And that voice of Jesus Christ, I think we have to pay attention. Many times it's really confused between different voices. No? So sometimes it's not easy to distinguish his voice. You remember another scripture about Samuel. He listens at night. "Hey, Samuel, Samuel." He thinks that it's a lie and goes to the master. "Hey, here I am." He didn't recognize immediately that was the voice of Jesus Christ or the Lord in that specific case. But many times during what is happening around our lives, that voices are confusing. No? That's why, for example, when someone says about your mother's tongue, no? For me, it was Spanish. When I pray and I have an emergency, immediately comes from my heart in Spanish, not in English or in some other language, because that was the voice in which I listened since I began my existence, no? And at least I remember I am a deacon, I'm not a priest, so I'm married and I have 6 children. I remember very well when my wife was expecting a baby. When I arrived at home, I noticed many times that the baby was recognizing my voice. start to just moving around immediately, Probably was afraid of me, I don't know. But that's why maybe was that happened. But that voice has a meaning. And what I'm trying to say today is that, do we recognize the voice of Jesus Christ when he's calling? Do we respond? Do they know? Does he knows me or not? I bet you he knows me. But do I really recognize his voice? Do I follow him on whatever I do? One of the reasons because maybe I'm here is because we don't have enough deacons in English. No? It is your vocation. Today we celebrate Vocations Day. It is maybe your vocation. Are you young also? That maybe your vocation is to religious life or priesthood? I see Michael over here. He's following that voice. For example, this coming Friday, I was happy to know I am the director of the Family Life Ministry Office in the Chancery too. And we are trying to organize different events to tell those young persons, what are you going to do? What is your vocation? Because many times on those services that we offer are for those who already decide, I'm going to marry this guy or this lady. So it's marriage preparation. But before, we need to do something else. So we often try to find out different opportunities. So one of them was, let's offer a marriage preparation for those who are still not committed one to each other to get married. Just discerning if that is their vocation or not. So we open, and we are going to have that event this coming Friday. And we open it for 125, the capacity of that space. So in few weeks was full already. So at least we are expecting to have 125 persons attending. So we increase another 25 to have at least 150. And the star on that event is Michael, because it's also an opportunity for him to use those talents to sing and pass through his songs, that possibility maybe to put that seed of vocation into them. That I think we need to work on those vocations. Vocations come from prayer. We need to pray for vocations. We need to pray as community too. And I'm sure that behind Michael's vocation, someone is praying a lot. Maybe your mom, maybe your dad, maybe a lot of your whole family, maybe. I don't know. But many times a grandmother is essential to that too, to bring us life and to keep us on the right track. So that opportunity to me is really important, because we need to provide opportunities for each one of us to listen to Jesus Christ. So to me, the invitation today is to pay attention to his voice. Distinguish that voice between many other ones that are around us, that are calling us to get an increase, for example, material possessions, to increase the use of Facebook, for example, to use and continue working many hours, many times. It is really what Jesus wants us to do in our life. Pay attention, I think, today. He is open for each one of us to get close to him and to follow him. He knows each one of us. Do we know him? Let's increase the opportunity to know him every single day. If we go with him, to him, he will be the good shepherd to lead us and to guide us to his Father. Let's continue our celebration.